Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over the first half of part 16 of the Master Key System by Charles F. Handel. And as you guys know, in every video, we will be going over questions and answers. So after I'm finished reading, we'll go over the answers. But before I start reading, let's go over what we're going to learn in the video today. So, upon what does wealth depend? Upon what does its true value consist? Upon what does success depend? Upon what does this power depend? And how may we take our fate out of the hands of chance? Alright guys, without further ado, I'm going to hop right into the introduction of part 16 and then go straight into part 16 and go over the answers when I'm finished. So let's go ahead and get started. To every man there openeth a way, and the high soul climbs the highway, and the low soul gropes the low. And in between on the misty flats the rest drift to and fro. But to every man there openeth a highway and a low, and every man decideth the way his soul shall go. Introduction to part 16. The vibratory activities of the planetary universe are governed by a law of periodicity. Everything that lives has periods of birth, growth, fruitage, and decline. These periods are governed by the septimal law. The law of sevens governs the days of the week, the phases of the moon, the harmonies of sound, light, heat, electricity, magnetism, atomic structure. It governs the life of individuals and of nations, and it dominates the activities of the commercial world. Life is growth, and growth is change. Each 7-year period takes us into a new cycle. The first 7 years is the period of infancy, the next 7 the period of childhood, representing the beginning of individual responsibility. The next 7 represents the period of adolescence. The 4th period marks the attainment of full growth. The 5th period is the constructive period, when men begin to acquire property, possessions, a home, and family. The next, from 35 to 42, is a period of reactions and changes, and this in turn is followed by a period of reconstruction, adjustment, and recuperation, so as to be ready for a new cycle of sevens, beginning with the 50th year. There are many who think that the world is just about to pass out of the 6th period, that it will soon enter the 7th period, the period of readjustment, reconstruction, and harmony, the period which is frequently referred to as the millennium. Those familiar with these cycles will not be disturbed when things seem to go wrong, but can apply the principle outlined in these lessons with the full assurance that a higher law will invariably control all other laws, and that through an understanding and conscious operation of spiritual laws, we can convert every seeming difficulty into a blessing. Alright, part 16. Wealth is a product of labor. Capital is an effect, not a cause, a servant, not a master, a means, not an end. The most commonly accepted definition of wealth is that it consists of all useful and agreeable things, which possess exchange value. It is this exchange value which is the predominant characteristic of wealth. When we consider the small addition made by wealth to the happiness of the possessor, we find that the true value consists not in its utility, but in its exchange. This exchange value makes it a medium for securing the things of real value whereby our ideals may be realized. Wealth should then never be desired as an end, but simply as a means of accomplishing an end. Success is contingent upon a higher ideal than the mere accumulation of riches, and he who aspires to such success must formulate an ideal for which he is willing to strive. With such an ideal in mind, the ways and means can and will be provided, but the mistake must not be made of substituting the means for the end. There must be a definite fixed purpose, an ideal. Princess Mulford said, "The man of success is the man possessed of the greatest spiritual understanding, and every great fortune comes of superior and truly spiritual power." Unfortunately, there are those who fail to recognize this power. They forget that Andrew Carnegie's mother had to help support the family when they came to America, that Harry Mon's father was a poor clergyman with a salary of only $200 a year, that Sir Thomas Lipton started with only 25 cents. These men had no other power to depend upon, but it did not fail them. The power to create depends entirely upon spiritual power. There are 3 steps: idealization, visualization, and materialization. Every captain of industry depends upon this power exclusively. In an article in Everybody's Magazine, Henry M. Flagger, the Standard Oil multimillionaire, admitted that the secret of his success was his power to see a thing in its completeness. The following conversation with the reporter shows his power of idealization, concentration, and visualization, all spiritual powers. Did you actually vision to yourself the whole thing? I mean, did you or could you really close your eyes and see the tracks and the trains running and hear the whistles blowing? Did you go as far as that? Yes. How clearly? Very clearly. Here we have a vision of the law. We see cause and effect. We see that the thought necessarily precedes and determines action. If we are wise, we shall come into a realization of the tremendous fact that no arbitrary condition can exist for a moment, and that human experience is the result of an orderly and harmonious sequence. The successful businessman is more often than not an idealist and is ever striving for higher and higher standards. The subtle forces of thought as they crystallize in our daily moods is what constitutes life. Thought is the plastic material with which we build images of our growing conception of life. Use determines its existence. As in all other things, our ability to recognize it and use it properly is the necessary condition for attainment. Premature wealth is but the forerunner of humiliation and disaster, because we cannot permanently retain anything which we do not merit or which we have not earned. The conditions with which we meet in the world without correspond to the conditions which we find in the world within. This is brought about by the law of attraction. How then shall we determine what is to enter into the world within? Whatever enters the mind through the senses or the objective mind will impress the mind and result in a mental image, which will become a pattern for the creative energies. These experiences are largely the result of environment, chance, past thinking, and other forms of negative thought, and must be subjected to careful analysis before being entertained. On the other hand, we can form our own mental images through our own interior processes of thought, regardless of the thoughts of others, regardless of exterior conditions, regardless of environment of every kind. And it is by the exercise of this power that we can control our own destiny, body, mind, and soul. It is by the exercise of this power that we take our fate out of the hands of chance and consciously make for ourselves the experiences which we desire. Because when we consciously realize a condition, that condition will eventually manifest in our lives. It is therefore evident that in the last analysis, thinking is the one great cause in life. All right, guys, so that was the first half of part 16. So let's go ahead and get right into the answer. So, number 1, upon what does wealth depend? Upon an understanding of the creative nature of thought. Number 2, upon what does its true value consist? Upon its exchange value. Number 3, upon what does success depend? Upon spiritual power. Number 4, upon what does this power depend? Upon use. Use determines its existence. And last but not least, number 5, how may we take our fate out of the hands of chance? By consciously realizing the conditions which we desire to see manifested in our lives. All right, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. Once again, if you enjoyed that, go ahead and smash the like button, tap the subscribe button, help us with our current goal to reach 1,000 subscribers. And if you have any questions, you can always email me directly at info@tycoontalk.xyz or leave a comment in the comment section below. And let me know any topics you'd like me to go more in depth about in the comment section below. And you can check the link in the description box below for all of my socials, online store, and everything in between. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and check out the other videos on my channel where I talk about making money with cryptocurrency, fixing your credit, the financial markets, and much more. A whole bunch of cool information. Everything is nice and neat, organized in 3 different playlists, so go ahead and check that out. And as always, my friends, may infinite abundance flow to you now and forever. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Peace.